about the more knowledge. In this one I'm taking a look at Exodus, Gods and Kings. Right? This is a movie that was made fairly recent, 2014, right? So not too long ago, right? And as you can see in this movie, right, it's about the Moses, about the Exodus out of Egypt, right? Which is the out of the Bible, the Exodus out of Egypt, where Moses led the Hebrew Israelites out of the land of darkness, Egypt, which is the land of darkness, into the new lands, right? So when we look at this one here, made in 2014, right, what you notice about this is these is the actors in it, right? And all these actors, right, are white, right? And as we know from this newer knowledge, this is basically a story about blacks, right? So basically you've got the idea, this is the Moses Christian Bale, right? So you've got the Christian Bale, the Christian, right? So there's this, there's one Jewel Ledgerton, right? Jewel Ledgerton, the ledger is the book, right? The Christian, the book. The Aaron and the Paul and the, they're all quoted, like, right? But the two main characters are totally quoted, right? The ledger and the Christian. So it's the day with the Christian book. So this, what do you call it, in production, right, of this is basically a profane sort of version, right? A profane sort of cover-up version, right? Which was 2014, so maybe nearly getting on for 10 years ago. So they made this profane cover-up in order to prepare for the actual realities of what we're doing, which was going to come sort of to notice a little bit later on. Right? So this is a profane version, profane and sacred always in the dualities. Right? You can see the Christ and the Christian idea and the ledger. So the sort of profane religious idea, right? So basically a fake version of the true story of what this is all about, this Exodus out of Egypt. You can see a lot of photos from it, the Moses character. This is the Moses character. Right? So, it's like a white man type of thing. Right? So it's a profane. There's in the background, look, is the old cube. So it's like a profane version. Basically a cover story, right? Not true to what it's all about. This is by Scott Free Productions as well, right? Scott Free Productions. Scott Free Productions here, that says quite a bit. Right? Scott Free. Says a lot like that. Now we'll come to the sacred meaning of this Exodus thing, right? Which is always the sort of real meaning, right? And God promises to take the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt to a good spacious land flowing with milk and honey, right? So the milk and the honey, this is tea drinking references, right? So remember that Egypt is the Kemet, right, or the land of darkness or the blackness, right? And then apply it, right, to the the Israelites out of the land of darkness or blackness, right, into the land of milk and honey, right? So when you have black tea, right, when you have tea, it's black, right? And then you add milk to the tea, and the tea becomes white, right? Tea becomes white. So this is basically an idea of taking the blacks out of Africa and bringing them to the white lands, right? And as we can see, that's like what's going on in today's world, like, right? So it's coming from the Exodus idea out of the Bible, right? What's going on? It's the people, the chosen people of God, are being transported over to the white lands. That's what this stuff's all about. The land floweth with milk and honey. A nice cup of tea, like, innit? ideas about the US called it. Totally could, see. Because America, USA is basically one big, massive experiment as to mixing whites with blacks. See what happened, won't it? It explains the entire country, basically. The milk symbolises the mother. Well, no, the mother idea. In what this stuff's all about. There's the TH. There's the Moor, as in the Mooses, right? And the AR. You know what the AR is and all? The promised land there. And an idea about Israel as well. Of course, you have the British Israel idea and all that, right? The British Israel. So here you got your British Israelism in the lost tribes, right? British are descended from the lost tribes. So when you think of the word tribes, right, you're talking about Africa again, aren't you? Like tribes. Just the first thing you think of in that, in Africa. So the lost tribes. In the British Israel World Federation. So a lot of interesting type of ideas about it. Of course, Israel and Britain. This is basically where that, British Israelism comes from. There's the AR. British royal buried in Jerusalem. Nice hex. A lot of strange stuff about all this, type of thing. British descended from the 10 lost tribes. Of course, the 10 commandments. So there's your British Israelism. Yeah, idea. You got your 13 in there, basically. You got your sort of your Dalit idea. Plus one more. Some strange stuff altogether, like. Here's your history in British Palestine Mandate, right? So obviously the Palestine and Israel thing and all this is basically a profane cover-up and all that. It's not the true thing, right? So that's why they popularised on the news and all that. And obviously you had a hex going on in these particular regions and that. And there's the Transjordan, of course, in Palestine. So you can see why they picked this place to build New Israel on, see? With that mandate, the Transjordan region. Mandate. As you can see there, read all this stuff, pretty recent. So the Bible itself is obviously predating this by a couple of 100 years at least, right? There seems to be some debate, right, as to who is the Hebrew Israelites, because you've got these group of black ones call themselves the Black Hebrew Israelites, right? You've got obviously those type of white ones who call themselves Jewish, and them claim to be the Israelites and all this, right? So obviously one is not right, right? You've got a lot of sort of hex and profane and sacred dualities going on within this little story, read. Yeah. These call themselves the Black Hebrew Israelites. It's all based on this type of stuff. You can see the connection with that Southern Poverty Law Centre, which I've mentioned that in a few videos. Yeah, and this is to do with like, basically demonising white people for their own purposes and all this, right? Masonic purposes, right? And so a connection there with these two groups, right? So it shows that these are basically Masonic control group as well, obviously. Right? All work together like in terms of groups and what have you, right? Not a group against group, you know what I mean? But they're all working for the same cause, basically, and all that. The Hebrew Israelites. The African Americans idea, right? Black Judaism there. Birth in the 1800s. Or see Bob Marley's album Exodus. Right? I love the Exodus. I remember when I was a kid, you had Remy Moses was one of the sort of big famous football players, right? The typical Afro haircut and all that, right? Remy Moses. So they've always had like a Moses idea connected to black people and all that, right? The Remy Moses. Victor Moses. It's a more recent one, Victor Moses. So they have the Moses idea, see, connected to this type of thing. Harriet Tubman, they called her Moses. Boy named Moses there. Moses the Black, obviously. A woman called Moses. James Baldwin, letter from a region in my mind. What massive hands, eh? I suppose female. There's Harriet Tubman. T. Tubman. Yeah, it's got a tea drinker's look to it. As Zipporah, a Jewish woman's archive. This is one saying Moses had a black wife. So this one saying that Moses was white but had a black wife. So a lot of conflicting basically. There's one saying Moses and his Ethiopian wife. So there's a lot of conflict and stuff, but as we know, they never tell the outright truth. They always code things and all this. Well, I mean, not it's not true anyway, but it's like, it's metaphorical codes and that. And more Moses, Robert Moses, famous people near Moses. So as you can see, the black idea very, very much part of the Moses. Jochebed, the mother of Moses, right? Jochebed. Like a joke, it's a joke.